Hello guys, and welcome to yet another video in this Forces of War, Flames of War, Force Builder Vlogmas series. It's always a lot to say in one sentence without mucking up. This is a series focused on the book, so we're using 100 points from the books. We're not using dynamics. We are covering mid-war and late war, and today we are going to cover some Hungarians. I do like to change it up from time to time. We're focusing a lot on D-Day and such. So let's go to New Force. We'll go to Bagration Hungarian, and then you can see there's a few nice options. The Hungarians get some very nice options. They got Panzer tanks, Tiger tanks, the assault gun company. Let's have a guess at how I'd pronounce this. Zurinyi. I have no idea. Stug assault gun, Turan tank company, the Panzer IV tank company, Hetzer assault gun, and rifle company. Now, if you're Hungarian or if you speak Hungarian and you're putting your hands in your face at the moment because of how awful my pronunciations are, I can only apologize. I do apologize. So rifle company is what I'm going to go for. I love infantry, guys. It's easier for me to work out. I don't know why, maybe not work out, but it's easier for me to plan what I'm doing. I hate doing tank companies where you can only get like 3 of these boxes filled out before you've almost hit 100 points anyway. So let's go ahead and have a look at the Hungarian late war rifle company. So their stats for the HQ are confident on a 4+. They last stand on a 3 home defense. So you got to remember, this is based towards 1944 to 45. The Russians were really advancing on Hungary pretty quickly, and then they were besieging Budapest or Pest. And yeah, so I understand the last stand. They're obviously fighting for their country and they don't want to be ruled by the Soviets. The skill is trained on a 4+, and they are hit on a 4+. The infantry save on a 3+. The SMG is the 39M, which has a range of 4 inches, halted rate of fire 3 and moving. Anti-tank 1, firepower 6, but they do go to pinned rate of fire 1. So if they're pinned, they can only fire at that rate of fire of 1. We have to take 2 for 2 points, which isn't too costly for HQ. That's pretty reasonable, to be fair. Then the stats remain exactly the same. However, we've got the 10, 31M, MG and 95M rifle teams. What does that give us? That gives us a holding rate of fire of 2 and 1 when moving, and tank 2, firepower 6. They can take the optional Panzerfaust anti-tanks as well as the 731 HMG. So the Panzerfaust gives us anti-tank 12 plus a firepower of 5+, and the HMG gives us halted rate of fire of 6. I always like to throw in some HMGs if I can, if the points allow it, just because I find them very good for their value. And then the optional Panzer Schreck anti-tank is slightly different to the Panzerfaust. It's got an additional 4 inches, but it does lose 1 with the anti-tank rating of 11, and they are both slow firing. So if you're moving with it, it's going to take a penalty. Now, I have previously looked at rifle platoons, Hungarian rifle platoons, and I think with these stats 10 is great, obviously, but I think for the sake of this company I'm going to go 7, but I am going to bulk it up. So I'm going to go the Panzerfaust. I'm going to make it into 10 points, so we're spending 4, but that's including Panzerfaust and a Panzer Schreck and a HMG, as opposed to just 10 teams plus another 4 points. So I feel like that's a bit more cost effective. Then we can go to rifle platoon. I'm going to do exactly the same, and bear with me, because if this is incorrect, or if I feel like this needs to be tweaked, if we need more, need less, whatever, I will come back and have a look at this. So we've got our black boxes completed. Remember, black boxes in your company are required to be taken. Everything in light grey is optional. So we've got an additional rifle platoon, but let's just hold our horses. Let's have a look what else we can take. So we take the 731M machine gun platoon. So we can take 3 of those for 3 points, and with these stats 4 and 4, so confident and trained but last stand on 3, I think that's actually really priced quite nicely. You get 18 dice with the 3 of them, as long as they're not pinned, obviously. So yeah, I'm going to go 3 of those for 3 points, and they are hit on a 4+, so that's quite good. I think that's really a nice tool to assist against those Soviet infantry hordes. We've got 81mm mortars and 120mm mortars. Let's have a look. So 4 81mm for 6 points. The stats are exactly the same as the HMG in terms of the motivation and skill, but they are artillery, anti-tank 1, firepower 4+, but they can fire a smoke bombardment. If we have a look at the 120mm variants, again the stats are identical. 4 for 8, so they're double. You get 1 for 2 points, so 4 for 8. Anti-tank 2, firepower 3 plus, and they can fire a smoke bombardment. I think for me, I'm going to go the 120mm mortars. It is a large gun. It's got a better range, better AT, and a better firepower. This firepower could come in handy getting rid of entrenched guns. So I think 4 for 120mm, and it can fire a smoke bombardment. I think it's worth the additional 4 points. Then we've got an anti-tank rocket platoon. Now that is interesting. What have we got here? 344M, God only knows how I would pronounce that, so I'm not even going to embarrass myself or anyone listening. Rocket launcher. So 3 for 8 points. Now that does look very fancy. What are we getting? The stats are exactly the same as everything else. Anti-tank 14, range of 12 inches, so you've got to get this close. Only moves at 4 inches. Firepower of a 5 plus. Now this is probably not worth taking. The firepower alone isn't great. The range isn't great, and the movement isn't great. So you would have to be very cunning with this if you were to do it. It's almost like that Pack 36 with the little rocket attached to it. Is it actually going to pay dividends? Is it going to get you that 8 points back? Now, if this does destroy a heavy tank, then yes. This would be great if you're in an urban environment, but let's just pretend you're at a tournament, but you're trying to keep it somewhat historically themed. This might have to be on the maybe pile. I'll take it purely for the wow, look at how cool this is, but I don't think you're going to get a return for this. Might be one of those things that looks cool, but you don't get a return. We'll come back to that, but wow, anti-tank rocket platoon, that's just so cool. Then we got the 40mm anti-tank platoon. So you get 3 40mm for 7 points. Firing the Kern grenade. Kern granati. See, look, God, this is just embarrassing. I should just stop. God, that was a tongue twister too. Confident for last stand 3. Train for an assault on 5. Hit on 4. So it's saying again exactly the same stat. So it's generically the 40mm gun is 24 inches, anti-tank 7, firepower 4 plus. But then if you're firing this grenade attached to it as the Pack 36, anti-tank 12, firepower 5 plus. So in this regard, do you get the option of choosing which one you want to fire? Because it doesn't have the you can pick one or the other. Interesting. But then if you're going to be buying it to fire this, you'll probably be better off getting those rocket ones. So I'm not going to go with this for the 40mm just yet. But the 7.5cm is interesting because this is just a Pack 40. Anti-tank 12, firepower 3 plus. That's much better. I think this is a lot more of a reliable gun, and it's going to do some damage. And the stats are pretty good. But again, you get 3 for 11 points. So it is quite costly, but I think I'm going to go with that. You're safe with a Pack 40. And then you get a scout platoon. So what do you get? You get exactly what we had before in the infantry section, but they get scout and spearhead instead, and they're not very good at assaulting. But they do follow me at 3 plus. This might be a viable scout option. Maybe we go 7 of these, equip them with Panzerfaust. That takes us to 54 points. No, let's clear that for now. Let's just clear that, and we'll come back to this. What's the Hussar troop? Cavalry. Oh, now that is interesting. Okay, exactly the same stats as the infantry, I think. Good stats. They don't lose anything or get worse on anything. Good movement range. Cross-country dash, 20 inches, so you could charge these in. Unit may dismount at the start of the movement step. Once dismounted, may not remount. So you could use these to charge on, get as close as you can do, and then hop off their horse. They get spearhead, which is great. 7 for 9 points on their horses. Again, let's come back to that. Let's just see what we're going to fill this with. So we've got pretty good mortars. Well, I feel like we should get... Let's get some tanks first. So formation support. We know they can take Panthers. They can take Tigers. Terrans, the Panzer IVs, Panzer IIIs, these assault guns, Stug, and the Hetzers. So the Panthers, I'm not going to look at the stats. The stats are good regardless. 4 and 4 for motivation and skill. 3 Panthers for 29 points. So it's almost priced the same as the Germans. But then 3 Tigers for 32. So for an extra 3 points, you could get an additional Tiger. 4 remount on a free, follow me on a free. And tank of 14 firepower 3+. The Turenne gives you the 40 mil or the 75 mil for 11 points. Stats are exactly the same as the Tiger, except the armor is obviously different. Front 5, side and rear 2, and top 1. The 75 mil gives you the 89 with 3+ plus heat. Yeah, I do like that. I do like that. So 3 of those. Let's put 3 Tigers in. 32 points of bash. We've gone straight up. So maybe we remove these for now. Let's just have a look. Panzer 4 for 19 points. 80, 11, firepower 3+. Stats again are the same. What about the assault gun? 105 mil. Brutal. Forward firing, heat, and slow firing if you go with a 24-inch, and they can fire artillery bombardments. Interesting. Fearless free, veteran free. Hit on a 4+. I think I like these. I think these are good. These are really good. And tank 10. Firepower 2+. Let's add these instead. Gives us 92 points. What about the Hetzers? How much were they? No, look, they're overworked as well. And they're quite expensive. I mean, they're not 3 for 12. The Stug? Yeah, 3 for 17. No. I mean, you could go Panzer Freeze perhaps. 5cm gun, and tank 9, 5 4+. No, it's not, just not worth it. Okay, so that leaves us 92 points. What have we got? I haven't got a ton of stuff. Like the Tigers are taking up a lot of that. Do I go 2 Tigers and give ourselves an additional 11 points? 2 Tigers, or is that going to be too vulnerable? 3 Tigers is scary. 2 Tigers, you might stand a chance, especially if you assault them with infantry who have got 80. Yeah, I think we leave them at 3. Gives us 8 points though. We've got artillery in the form of the assault gun as well as the 120 mil, so we don't need any bigger artillery, I don't think. The rocket battery would be nice. It's just a 15cm rocket battery, just the Nerbelwaffe. So there's a scout platoon, the Hussar platoon, or the Kasaba armored car platoon. God, this is so embarrassing. Reluctant 5, counterattack 6, follow me 3. See, I'm really tempted by the Hussar, but they are 9 points, and I'd like to equip them with Panzerfaust as well. So where can we save some money here? What can we do? What can we do? Well, we probably don't need Panzerfaust in both of these, so we could save 2 points there. Let's just go 9, because these don't have a Shrek. So if we go 9, save 103, return that to formation, go to here, rifle platoon. We'll get rid of one of these, and then another one can have the Panzerfaust opposed to the Panzer Shrek. That will leave us 100 points. But then do we add the Hussar troop? Yes, so that's what we'll do. So we'll get rid of the Hussar troop. We'll put this Hussar troop in here to bulk out this actual company. And we'll get rid of this one here. Clear and save. Okay, so we've got the rifle company, 2 rifle platoons, but they are different. One's got a Panzer Shrek and a HMG. The other one's got a Panzerfaust and a HMG. An additional 3 HMGs for 3 points. And now see, this is where it gets interesting. Do we actually need the additional HMG? But we do need them just to give them that extra 6 dice, I think. Okay, we've got the 120 mil mortar platoon. 3 7.5cm heavy tank anti-tank platoons, so that's the Pack 40s, 7 31M MG 95M rifle teams in the Hussar troops. That gives us the spear. Then we've got Tiger tank and the assault gun platoon for 100 points. Now this is a nice force. Those Tiger tanks are going to be scary. This is definitely a defensive list though, and I think you'd be best putting off a Tiger platoon and also a rifle platoon into reserve. But then I'm looking at this, how can we... Is there anything we can do slightly differently here? If I was to scratch the Tigers, we've got nothing that's going to be able to heavily hit. We do. We could put 2 88s in. 2 again is vulnerable. But that gives us the AT-14. So let's just pretend, so we get 2 of those for 74 points. Does this one give you 4 guns? No. So let's see, the Hungarians are light on the actual numbers. So we could put 4 hetzers in for 16 points. That takes up to 90. What's the Turan giving us? Oh yeah, 3 for 11. 89. Then we tweak it slightly. So we could have 4 hetzers, 3 assault guns, 3 Turans, 2 88 mils. It's very weak though. And if you're defending with this list, even though you've got more, sometimes more isn't great. Sometimes more is obviously less. I reckon we just get rid of all this. You're not going to go wrong with Tigers. Obviously not King Tigers. We're getting rid of these though. Save. But now I'm questioning, do we need the 120mm mortars? If we have 3 of those for 32 points. The other thing we could do is we could go... Hang on, where have I gone wrong here? Oh, the heavy anti-tank. We could sacrifice a Tiger, have 2 Tigers for 21. That frees up 11 points. We could scratch the Hussars, put in the armoured car platoon, 4 of those for 4 points. They're not great, but they still give us a scout and spearhead. They can move quickly, not as good. Cross country dash 60 opposed to the horseback 20, but the road dash is 40. Hand tank 5 firepower 5 plus with that 20mm gun. So let's go 4 of those. And that gives us the ability to take some more tanks. Now do we take the hetzers? Let's compare the hetzers to the Turan. So the hetzers, Turan's got way better motivation, but the skill's just not as good. The hetzers have better armor, anti-tank of 11, even with the heat aspect. The points though, I could put in, let's put 4 hetzers in. I feel more comfortable with 4 hetzers than the Turans. That leaves 2 points. 2 points. What are we going to do? 2 points. Perfect. So we can come back in here and we can bolster one of these platoons to 100 points. Now do I prefer this to what we had before? So we've got the Rifle Company HQ, a rifle platoon with all the trimmings, a rifle platoon without the Panzerfaust, 3 machine guns, 4 112mm mortars, 3 7.5cm Pack 40s. Then we've got the armoured car, the 2 Tigers, the assault guns, and then the hetzers. Do we need the anti-tank, the 3 7.5cm guns? If we've got 4 hetzers, 3 assault guns, and 2 Tigers, are the anti-tank guns overkill? That is the question. We could literally put in 2 88s, but then they're going to be very, very vulnerable. I do like 7.5cm guns, but do we say for the sake of it being Tank 14 firepower 5. So if you're smart enough with, but I just don't like this tactical order 4 inches. But then what's the infantry? 8. Yeah. So you're really gonna have to get them into position so quickly. But the AT 14 is tempting. But 8 points, it's gonna be a waste of points. But then do we live a little? We can free up 3 points, bulk out the infantry, perhaps make them a little bit more stronger. I don't think you can go wrong with pack 40s though. AT-12, they're a good workhorse. The only problem is they can only move at 2 inches, but 4 inches still isn't much. I'm really debating with myself on this one. I don't know if the anti-tank is worth the risk. The rocket platoon. I'm thinking if you're defending, still got 12 inches of range. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because we're doing a defensive list. So let's do it. Let's have a bit of fun here. So that takes us back to 3 points. So then we can add a Panzer Shrek on this one. So then we've got all the trimmings and that leaves us with 2 points. What can we get for 2 points? God only knows. Can we put Boffer's battery in? No. Can't get an additional Hetzer for 2 points. This is where a command card might come into it. I don't know why I looked at the story, but this is where my command card may come into it. Because I can't do anything with these 2 points. I don't have access to the command cards in this one. I didn't pay for them because I don't really play with Hungarians. So if there is a command card for 2 points, that might be worth considering. Where can I get 2 points from? The mortar platoon? 3 points, of course. But then, for 3 points, we could just ditch. Do we go 2 2mm mortars? Boffers? 2 80mm AA guns? Anti-tank give 11. Firepower 3 plus. That means I need to free up 4 points. If I just go, I don't want to throw in another battery of mortars for just 2 stands. No, I've looked at those. I'm really scratching the surface here, guys. What am I gonna do? Alright, so the only other option now is just to go into here. We're gonna have to reduce that rifle platoon, so just get rid of that. Go back here. I need 8 points. Is it 8 or 6 for the heavy anti-aircraft? Oh, 6. Alright, why don't we do this then? Just hope and pray that they don't get RT'd straight away. So what about this? So we've got the 2 rifle platoons, but they've got a Panzer Shrek added and they've also got a HMG, so they go up to 9 stands each. The 3 machine guns, 420mm mortars, plus that rocket artillery, that rocket anti-tank. Then we got heavy anti-aircraft, so 2 88s, the armoured car platoon, the 2 Tigers, the 3 assault guns, and the 4 Hetzers. Again, defensive list, what would I put in? Defense, I'll probably put in reserve, the 2 Tigers, and maybe the Hetzers. That would take us to 37, and then I just need to get 3 points from somewhere, so maybe the machine gun platoon, or yeah, you can really just decide. It would have to be the machine gun platoon, I think, but that's okay. The machine gun platoon, I think, can move at 8 as well, or maybe it's 6. Let's have a look. 8 as well, so that just acts as like an infantry stand. 3 rounds of machine guns. Worst case scenario, obviously you can mix it up, you don't have to go with that, but that's just, I'm thinking, the minimum amount of stands off the table. So yeah, very interesting. Hungarians are great, but they are low on the old platoon side of things in terms of their support, so the machine guns, mortars and anti-tank. So yeah, be very interested to know what you think of your Hungarian player. Please let me know in the comments section what you would do with this list, how you have found this list. Do you agree with it? Have you taken those anti-tank rockets? Because they are just very crazy, but 12 inches is much more satisfying than like the 8 inches you get with the Panzer Shrek. So you get an additional 4 inches, so you can be really tricky with those, I suppose. A huge thank you goes out to my Patrons and YouTube channel members, as well as those Panzer Aces, Oscar, Patrick, and Panzer Jim. You guys are absolutely awesome. I'm going to leave it here, guys. Don't forget to let me know below what list you would like to see next. And until then, I will catch you at the next one.